Our longtime friend Julianna Pena, the Venezuelan vixen herself, is pregnant. How about that? That's where she's been. And so, of course, I love all things parenthood and wanted to talk to her about this. So she is joining us, kind enough to join us on the phone. She's on line one. Julianna, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Well, mazel tov to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, this is very exciting news. And I have to say, I kind of stumbled upon, I don't read People magazine on Espanol, but someone sent me this little article about you talking about, working as a broadcaster for Combate Americas. And then at the very end, there's a question about your future. And you say, oh, you're pregnant and you're due to give birth around January 12th. But you kind of kept this, very much a secret. Why is that? Why did you keep this under wraps?
It wasn't something that I was wanting to divulge into the fans. If you think about it, I'm in like 4 days, I'll be in my 7th month of pregnancy.
Wow.
And so I think that, they didn't know that I was pregnant. And then in 3 more months, I'll be popping out the baby. And then I can get back to business as soon as I, get the whole motherhood thing and working out schedule down packed and get back into shape and then get back into fighting shape in a fight camp. So I think it's just one of those things where I didn't want them to think that I was going to be out for, forever now that I'm having a baby.
Without prying, but just curious, was this part of the plan? Did you want to do this in the midst of your career right now, or did life kind of just happen?
I think that I've always wanted to be a mother. That's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have kids. And I think that coming from a large family is just always something that was kind of, innate in me as a kid growing up, just always wanting to have that motherly thing that I can call my own. So I think things just started to fall into place, once you deem yourself worthy and you find yourself in a good spot, and then you find a man that is worthy of you. Things just kind of fell into place that way, and I fell in love, and I just think that it was the right timing for me.
Very happy for you. Do you mind if I ask who's the lucky man?
Yes, his name is Louis, and he's my fiance, and he's an amazing, amazing man.
Wow. And when are you guys getting married?
I'm not sure. I think we went from, planning a wedding to then being pregnant. And so I was kind of just like, well, let's make sure that I get back to, decent shape before I walk down the aisle all, not myself. So I think I want to focus more on getting back into fight shapes before I take the plunge.
So you didn't want to walk down the aisle with a baby bump. You wanted to do it after the fact.
Yeah, I don't think that's not my idea, is to be all, baby bump down the aisle. No.
Okay. And do we know what we're having?
Yeah, it's a girl.
Wow, that's amazing. I just had a girl myself. Well, around 11 months ago. It's the greatest thing.
How many kids do you have? 2 or 3?
I have 3. Thanks for asking.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
It's the best. Changed my life for the better. Everyone will tell you about, the lack of sleep and how difficult things, and you have to be less selfish, but it's all positive things. It's all great. It gives you balance and perspective and, truly something to love and to wake up for. I couldn't vouch for it more.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it just is going to bring me so much love and joy. And as soon as, I pop her out, I'm going to look at her and I'll be like, man, I would kill for you, girl.
Yes.
Whatever you want, I'll do it, So I think it's good. She's already got us wrapped around her fingers. We're here buying the changing table right now. We bought the crib a couple of days ago. We're getting everything all set up and ready to go. So I think we're super excited. She's going to be due here in January, and at the beginning of January. And so it's a really exciting time right now, especially because you don't have to be like, I can hide it, People, they're like, oh, you don't look pregnant. It's like, because I'm wearing all these billowy clothes. So having a baby in the winter, I think, is better than having it in the summer, I think.
And what about sickness, first trimester, the third trimester? You're kind of approaching that right now. How are we feeling?
Oh, I was terribly sick in the first trimester. In fact, I had went to Mexico for like 10 days, and I was just like so sick. I was The smells, it was like driving in the car, the roads were terrible. And driving in these little tiny taxi cabs where I just feel like gas is just like I'm choking on it, and then like people smoking cigarettes everywhere, and just all the smells. And then every time I sat down, I was like out, like just freaking sleeping like crazy. And I think everyone was like, geez, what's wrong with your chick, And I was just like, I'm sorry, like they didn't know I was pregnant, and I had just found out too. So I was kind of like, I was really sick in the beginning. I remember one day, my man had to nurse me back to health and like spoon feed me some eggs because I hadn't been able to get up out of bed, all day. I was so sick. And,
wow.
Yeah. So then after the first trimester though, I came back to life and had a lot more energy, and yeah, I'm still working out, and yeah, I just got done doing a nice workout, and I'm just trying to get ready for this new adventure.
Now, and just to be clear, you still want to fight after this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is just going to give me something more to fight for, and I think it's going to be exciting. I know that a lot of people think that I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's just one of those things where I've been having to continue to prove myself. I've went through some crazy experiences in my life where if I can come back from those experiences, I know for a fact that I'm going to be able to come back from this type of experience. And not to mention, there's a lot of beautiful women that fight in the UFC, and their mothers as well.
Yes.
So I think that those girls are kind of an inspiration, and they definitely are killers in their own right. And so I just look forward to seeing what kind of fighter I am after giving birth.
I couldn't agree more. Some of the best fighters in the UFC are mothers. Kat Zingano and Sarah McMahon, Michelle Watterson, just a few that come to mind. So I certainly don't think that it should, impede your progress as a fighter. But obviously, there's going to be some time off after giving birth. What is like a realistic time frame? Like, are you planning on taking the rest of the year, like 2018, off as well? What are you thinking? Obviously, before giving birth.
It's kind of a difficult thing because I've never given birth, and then I don't,
Sure.
All my sisters have given birth, and so their timelines are different. Me coming from a professional athlete aspect, I think it's a little bit different because I'm used to working out. I'm used to being in camp all the time. So I think for me, I set a little goal for myself, and then when someone asks me what my goal is, and when I come back, they just kind of giggle to themselves, and then their wife comes walking by, they're like, she thinks she's going to take a fight in 8 months, and the wife kind of chokes and laughs too. So I'm like, is that too soon? Like, am I being unrealistic? So I don't know. But I think the most important thing for me is this is the very first time that I'm having my first baby. And I think that the bonding that you make with your child within like the first year is so important. And I don't want to be rushing so crazy back to the sense where I'm like selfish in a camp where I'm like, screw you, baby. I got, to get in the octagon and go get in a fist fight. I want to make sure that my baby is loved and that I have everything in schedule and to make sure that, I can deal with the pressures of being a mother. And then if I can add more onto that, then I will. So I'm looking at, less than a year, maybe 8 months to a year. So we'll see how it goes, because I really don't know how long it's going to take me to, get acclimated to everything.
Sure. I can't wait. I mean, like, I remember when we had our first child, we would go to like these breastfeeding classes and things like that. And you go around the room. Oh, I do this. And I'd love to see like these, these moms showing up and you're like, hi, I'm a cage fighter. And, I'm having a baby, like the looks of horror on their face, because they probably don't come across that very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of awkward to tell people what I do. In fact, I never explain to anyone. Like whenever someone asks me what I do, I'm just like, I just kind of hang out. I'm an athlete, like try to keep it under wraps, like not trying to, because then they just kind of look at you like you're psycho, so, and I already get enough of that as it is. So
I haven't talked to you since your fight against Valentina Shevchenko, as crazy as that seems to me. You haven't been on the show since. And I'm just so much has happened in the division since then. And that was such a big, that was the fight to get the title fight. How did you handle it after? I know you're a very passionate and an emotional person at times. Are you over it? Did you feel like you needed a lot of time to get over it? How did you digest that loss?
I was pretty heartbroken, actually. I think that I focused a little too much on putting my sights ahead of me that I probably shouldn't have done. Everyone kept talking about the title fight, and I had made some comments, kind of being an a-hole, and I was getting responses like, "Yeah, we love it, keep that going," and I just kind of felt like overall I wasn't staying true to like who I was, and I think that I just kept focusing too much on getting to the title as opposed to looking at the fight that was right in front of me. So, and I think that it showed in my fight. I was overzealous. I was crazy thinking, okay, if I can just get this fight to the ground, I got it. I wasn't assuming that, a 17-time Muay Thai world champion had, good submissions and stuff. And I just think that I was just more focused on punching a hole through her face than, being smart and, squaring up and doing what I needed to do and what I know I can do. So in the back of my mind, I think I really want to get back to the division to prove to myself that I'm better than that. And it wasn't a thing that is going to define me as a fighter. And I think that it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that I had lost, because I'm pretty sure I cried for like 3.5 hours after I lost, and no one could talk to me, and I was just a freaking wreck. But
wow.
Otherwise, I think, I definitely think that I'm over it, and I'm happy. What I lost to Valentina that night, but I feel like I won more. I won a wonderful fiance who treats me amazingly, like a queen, and I won, a baby, a gift of life, and a blessing from God. And so I think at the end of the day, I think I truly won more.
Well said. Very well said. Did you watch the Nunes-Shevchenko fight?
I actually didn't. I was having my gender reveal party on the same day, and
Wow.
not on purpose, but by accident. And it's funny enough. I said, okay, well, I didn't watch the fight. I still haven't, but I said, if Valentina wins the fight, I'll name my baby Valentina. And
what?
then at the end of the night, I checked. I just love that name. I don't know why. I love the name Valentina. I think it's such a beautiful name. And she lost the fight, so I was like, no, her name's not going to be Valentina.
Wow. Do you have the name?
Yeah, her name is Isabella.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well done. I love it with the accent.
Yeah, Isabella Cruz. Cruz is her middle name because we thought it was a boy, so we were going to name him Cruz, and I just like that name, and so we just decided to keep Cruz as her middle name and kind of be different.
I find it fascinating that in one breath you say that the loss, you were very heartbroken and emotional afterwards, and yet, Valentina sort of represents that, and you still wanted to name your daughter Valentina had she won the belt. Wouldn't you be reminded of that?
Yeah, so that's one thing. But then I also felt like even before the fight, I just was kind of fascinated with her. Like she's just like this crazy chick that she's not crazy by any means, but just she dances like amazing and beautifully, you know what I mean? I'm like, dang, dude. Like, I was kind of like fascinated with she speaks all these different languages, and I was just kind of like, I always, before I even knew Valentina into the division, like before I had even thought about Valentina, I remember, Danny Rubenstein one time told me that he had known this girl that makes these beautiful Mexican dresses and that she could make a custom dress. And I asked him, well, what's her name? And he said, Valentina. And I was like, oh, that's such a beautiful name. And so whenever anyone would be like, well, if you're going to have a kid, what would you name it? I would always say Valentina.
Wow.
And so then when they're like, you're fighting Valentina, I was like, I'm kind of superstitious. I'm like, I don't think this isn't a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the name that has been coming to me reoccurring in dreams all the time and stuff like that. And so I thought it was really weird. So losing to her was one thing, but then also the other thing thinking, okay, well, I'm pregnant. It's a girl. I don't want to stray away from that name. But then I thought, well, that's just going to be kind of weird, because then everyone's going to be like, oh, you lost to Valentina, then you named your baby after her. And then of course that salty taste in my mouth from the loss was probably going to make me mad or resentful or something. So I was like, she didn't win the belt. Her name's not going to be Valentina. I'm over it.
Considering how you kept this so under wraps, what was the reaction when you announced that you were pregnant and I mean, you're 2 months away?
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I'm not 2 months away. I'm in my 7th month in 4
Okay.
days. And so I think
3 months.
they say that you're pregnant for like 10 months or something like that. But
Yeah.
in the beginning of January is when I should be giving birth.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think a lot of people, for the most part, have been extremely positive and really happy for me. And then in the other aspect, I think that there's a lot of people that are confused that think that I'm retired from fighting and that I'm never coming back. And so what I just want to make clear is, yes, I'm pregnant. Yes, I'm having a baby, but no, I'm not done fighting.
Okay. Did you tell the UFC before you announced it, or did they find out like the rest of us?
Oh, no, I told them long time ago. And, they were so supportive and they were just like, you know what, Juliana, there's women out there that, get pregnant and lose their babies due to miscarriage all the time. There's women that have spent thousands of dollars trying to get infertile seminization and they lose the baby. There's people that have waited too long in their life and then their babies, messed up or they just have waited so long in their life that they cannot physically get pregnant. They're like, fighting's always going to be here. You're still young. They're like, go have your baby. We are so happy for you. And we'll be here when you get back. So I was really happy with the response that I got from Dana and from Sean Shelby. They were very supportive.
That is great to hear. And you've also been doing some commentating work for Combate Americas. Are you going to, obviously you're going to take a break, but do you still do that? Is that still part of your plans?
Yeah, actually, Campbell McLaren is such a great guy. I love that man. He's so supportive, and he told me, I want you up until you literally cannot possibly commentate anymore. And he goes, and then as soon as you pop that baby out, I want you back on the air, and I want you on the air with your baby. And so he's like, we are a family organization, and we're so happy for you. And so this is not anything that, like, you're not going to get fired or anything. You still have your job, and I want you every single time that you can make it out. So I leave to go to Cancun for the November 11th show. It's called Copa Combate, and it's a 8-man one-night tournament, and the winner wins $100,000. So I'll be over in Mexico November 11th for that one. And then
nice.
I believe we're going to Spain in March, and we're going to be doing a show over in Spain in March. So. And
you plan on going to that?
It depends on how I'm feeling, but yeah. I think I'm going to get like someone to come with me and watch the baby while I'm commentating, or maybe the baby will be sleeping and sitting on my lap. Who knows? But I'm going to try to make it if I can. Yeah.
And I know that you're based in Chicago now. Does that mean, now that you have this family, this young family, will you be training with different people? And I know you've done some training in Chicago, but originally you were training out of Spokane. What do you think you'll do when it's time to start training for a fight?
I'm not sure. I think I'll just focus on getting in shape and making sure that, I'm still rolling and doing stuff here. I have everything that I need here, but I think it's definitely good to go back to getting that grind in that we did, with the hole in the wall type of gym that I came from, and just grinding it out every day. And I think that that's important too. But right now I'm not really focused on that. That's not my main focus. My main focus right now is to just have my baby and let me enjoy this time. And when it gets talks of fighting, then we'll talk fighting. But right now we're just kind of talking about, living life and enjoying, this first baby and this blessing that has been bestowed upon me and my fiance.
Well, I'm very happy for you again. Congratulations. Mazel tov, as they say in my country, to both you and your fiance and your families. And yes, enjoy every step of the way. There's nothing quite like that first one and going through the unknown together. And so I heard the news and was extremely happy for you and reached out and was really happy that you came on the show today to talk about it. So all the best. Wish you nothing but the best health and best of luck with the pregnancy and the delivery. And I look forward to meeting Isabella one day at an MMA event as you're fighting for a UFC title.
Okay. Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate the time. I really do. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. All the best to you guys. There she is, the Venezuelan vixen herself. She's going to be a mother in January. How cool is that?